A former Alberta NDP MLA, Rod Loyola, once an anti-capitalist rapper and radical activist, is now seeking the federal Liberal nomination in Edmonton Gateway. That's right. The same man, a communist, who used to rhyme about smashing capitalism, wants to team up with Mark Carney, former Bank of Canada governor, globalist heavyweight, and proud World Economic Forum disciple. I guess the NDP are making their anti-oil, anti-Alberta allegiance with the Liberals a little more formal, and they're cutting out the middleman, Jagmeet Singh.
I don't know, Mr. Speaker. Are they for real? Do they really think that Justin Trudeau was the one out there advocating on behalf of the energy industry in the United States? The guy who imposed the No More Pipelines bill, the tanker ban, an emissions cap on oil, an emissions cap on methane, net zero power regs, net zero vehicles, net zero building construction? Mr. Speaker, those are all policies advanced by the NDP. Right. It's the Liberal NDP coalition that is damaging this province, damaging our industry, and I'm the one standing up for it.
According to a CTV News report, Carney's commie Loyola is eyeing a spot on Team Canada as the Liberals gear up for the next federal election. But there's a mountain of receipts that should make voters, and even Liberal voters, stop and pause. Now, to learn more about the Liberal extremists vying to run Canada, visit meettheliberals.com. Now, in his younger days, Loyola was known in leftist circles as a spoken word artist, spitting fire against capitalism.
About to hit the mic quiet, subversively, coming at you with ingenuity, breaking down indoctrination of capitalist commodification that's taken over your mind. Attacking you all the time through daily media blips like drive-by hits. The clip just hit the ground. We've been broken and bound, tied up behind enemy lines, incarcerated and confined. To break free, we need to have an urban guerrilla mentality. Observe your enemy, analyze strength and weaknesses, use the same ammunition. Oh man, I forgot my lines.
He lambasted the oil and gas industry, claiming that Fort Chipewyan leaders had been threatened by oil companies when they dared to speak out against the industry's greed. A greed Loyola said puts profit ahead of people's health, water, land rights, and the environment. Loyola argued that capitalism in operation on Indigenous lands, whether in Latin America or North America, was nothing less than ongoing colonization. And he complained about the Liberals as part of the problem. I guess now he is also part of the problem. Look at this in the now defunct leftist publication View Weekly. Even before Stephen Harper, the Liberals were doing their best to legislate the changes necessary so that neoliberalism could essentially take effect here in Canada, Loyola said. This is the privatization process. So whether it's our schools, post-secondary institutions, or healthcare system, slowly all of that is being eroded. They're legislating those changes. Loyola said that to View Weekly, June 11th, 2014. Over 10 years later, nothing is privatized, much to my chagrin. And I should note that Alberta lost 85,000 jobs in the first year Loyola's anti-oil NDP was in power. Employment was at 9%. These anti-corporate stances, once part of Loyola's radical platform, seem at odds with his current ambitions to join the Liberal fold, a party run by a crony capitalist rubbing shoulders with WEF global elites. In 2013, Loyola marked Fidel Castro's birthday by posting a glowing tribute to El Comandante, complete with a picture of the Cuban murderous dictator looking pleased in military garb. The translation of the caption was, "Happy birthday, Commander-in-Chief, forever internationalist." Now, this wasn't just an offhand remark. It was a full-on celebration of a man who jailed and killed dissidents, crushed the press, and kept his people in poverty. And Loyola saw him as a hero. Now, Loyola's record on Israel-Palestine isn't just one-sided. It's disturbingly radical. Loyola promoted Israeli Apartheid Week, tweeting Israeli Apartheid Week coming up next week. Check out psnedmonton.ca for more details. Also in 2014, during another flare-up in Gaza, Loyola tweeted his support for Voters for Gaza, an activist group with a history of inflammatory rhetoric. He tweeted, "Support universal human rights, oppose war crimes, follow Voters for Gaza for more information. Gaza under attack." Now that's not standing for peace. That's cheerleading for anti-Israel activism that crosses the line into Hamas apologism. What do you think this means for Team Canada's stance on the rising tide of anti-Semitism on the streets of Canada? Nothing good, right? Loyola now joins elbows up Team Canada, but he wasn't exactly waving the Canadian flag before his last quest for power. Back in 2014, Loyola also tweeted, "Canada has also been multicultural, I would even say multinational. Time to honor the treaties and respect for one another." Now, this kind of rhetoric aligns more with the Trudeau-Carney government's push to fracture Canadian identity along ethnic and ideological lines rather than unify the country under one nation. Let's not forget Loyola's participation in radical left-wing protests, including the infamous 2013 storming of the Alberta legislature. Look at this.
Rod Loyola, I'm the president of the Non-Academic Staff Association at the University of Alberta. And let me tell you something. We are in this fight with you. Don't make a mistake about that. We're going to do everything we can to organize in our workplaces. And this is what we need, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget our history. Don't forget that progressive conservative governments have been doing this to working people for the last 40 years in this province.
These sort of protests are now something the Liberals claim is a threat to democracy. Of course, when conservatives do it, when leftists do it, that's activism, don't you know? Loyola's political journey is the perfect case study of how radical activists are nothing more than establishment sellouts with a hunger for power. The same man who lauded Fidel Castro, smeared Israel, attacked oil development, and wants to upend capitalism now wants to sit beside global bankster, crony capitalist, global elite Mark Carney and represent your interests in Ottawa. The Liberals call it Team Canada. We call it Team Hypocrisy. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. To learn more about the other radicals and hypocrites vying to run Canada as part of Team Carney, please go to meettheliberals.com.